Hi guys, it's Ali and Theo, and we're back with another episode of the Undecided Gen Z.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything going on in our world, your world, and the world around us from a Gen Z perspective, and also chat to other Gen Zs doing interesting, influential, or inspiring things.
Yes, and this week, we have a really great guest.
Yes, I'm so excited. We're going to be speaking to Carlos Sanson, who is the star of
Bump.
Bump.
One of the stars. We should have got them both on, honestly.
For
like a double chat. So he is the baby daddy on a newish, or like, is it a month old now?
Getting so old.
Show on Stan about this girl who just has a baby. I'm not going to say how, I'm not going to ruin it, but you should go watch it now. It is so good. It's an Australian show and it's blown up.
Yes, and it's such a good show. But and he's done some really cool things recently. If you don't know Carlos, if you don't know the show, also don't worry, because we're going to get into all like
Hollywood,
acting. How you actually get into acting.
Yeah,
how do you make it happen?
Actor? I'm going to become an actor now. Watch me.
After you hear about his tips and experience,
exactly.
Like, how do we do it just so we can like make it happen? Like, give us
the only reason we got him on the podcast was so he would give me some tips to then become an actor. No.
Exactly. Do you have anyone you can introduce us to?
How can I become an actor now? No, but I'm so excited to have him on, and so stick around.
Why
guys.
are you excited?
I may have binged the whole show in one sitting and completely and utterly no, but he's very attractive. He's very personable from what I've seen online. His online presence and his acting. Maybe I just fell in love with his character.
I did think he was the best, and not just because he's coming out. Or maybe no. All right, so stick around for that, guys. We're gonna, of course, get into some fun stuff before that, and then afterwards we're gonna come back for some people picks. So get ready for it.
But of course, there. Do I have to bring it up every time? Are you gonna make me the annoying person?
So she's talking about the review of the week, which we of course like to start off with. Now, as we know, I always like to try and make a theme song happen.
Oh my god!
I'm not about to break into song.
Because I was about
but
to
last
cry.
week I was like trying to, I was like floating a review of the week theme song.
No, you weren't floating. You were just completely belting it. You were trying to push it so hard, and if you
I don't know if it was about like I was.
My ears were bleeding. No,
but sure enough, someone in the Facebook group after. Like Nat McLennan, love Nat, she posted like review of the week, and I was like, yeah, ha. Someone comments with like a full song, and I'm literally dead. So I don't know if this is gonna. I don't know if it will make the cut for episodes.
It was definitely better than your singing. That's all I've got to say.
I don't know about that. Okay. Yeah. All right. But it's time for a review of the week.
I kind of love it. Like,
I'm dead. I'm dead.
I think she probably could do better. I think she took inspiration off your singing, and that's what ruined it.
What are you saying something about her singing?
No, your singing. As in, like, maybe I don't think I like the like, and that was your part in that. I love the like Ali there. Like, I like the little tune. I'm not sold. Not.
Well, you guys let us know what you think about if we should keep the review of the week song. Because we're not sure. But this week was actually funny. I'm not sure if you saw this one, but they actually came in with a question for us. Specifically,
a question on a review?
A question. I was like, yes, you can just DM us, but no, leave a review, get us that. Anyway, it was from Calypso Botanica, which is like, sounds like a name straight from a brothel. But and the question was, Global Boy. Love the podcast, would love a Global Boy update.
Wow. Hit it where it hurts, why don't you?
I'm like, wow, that's like a throwback.
It's definitely throwback. That
Global
was
Boy was like
your
man of the first year of the podcast. And when I say your man, I mean the man you would stare at
from afar
for a year, and then you finally spoke to him. And yeah, so wait, what happened with Global Boy? And has there been any communication? Like, where did it end?
What happened with Global Boy?
Yeah.
Where did it end? I think it just ended with me like showing him the podcast and he'd be like, oh my god, and then maybe like, I'm so embarrassed, and then I think I low-key asked him out.
Yes, you should be. Goodbye.
No, I low-key asked him out, and he was like, oh, I'm not looking for anything at the moment, and then I just left it, and that was it.
And then coincidentally, not long after you dropped out of school again.
No, that was a New Year, and he wasn't there that year. But every now and again, he'll pop up on my like messenger.
Oh.
You know, when you're like when they're
Who's like,
active.
who's active?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like there, and I'm like,
Are you ever tempted to like
No.
reignite it?
no, I want to die every time I see it. I hate seeing guys that I've talked to be active on Facebook,
But
It,
not
like,
enough to
kills
delete them.
me.
You like, you kind of like keeping them around just as like,
Well, I like
I
them to see
did
me
that.
thrive.
this is
No.
what you could have had.
No, he's in the past. I don't actually have any regrets about that. He was a big story, a big part of the first year of the podcast. I've grown since then. That's all I can say. I hope I've grown, but I think I've grown.
Yeah. No. Yeah, for sure.
But no longer chasing. No longer chasing. I don't have time for that. Actually, on that front, I've noticed recently that I literally think I have no interest in talking to guys at the moment,
Oh.
which is really interesting for me because
Okay.
in the past and in a couple like the last forever,
Yeah.
constantly messaging guys, constantly talking because like I don't know, obviously issues, and I like always just needed to like I don't know if it was like a whole thing with like if like guys show interest in me, then I'll feel like I'm worthy of life.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my god.
yeah.
Sorry, that makes me want to die. But I've recently just been too busy with work, too busy with like developing myself in the podcast and everything
Yourself.
that I just don't feel the need to. Which like I talk to like one or two guys that I'm like talking properly to, but no like little, not
I
little.
guess-
Hey, how are you? Like keeping.
Yeah, do you feel like
that
you're getting
tune.
your like fulfillment from other stuff now?
Yeah.
Because like you're doing stuff, you're like, I'm getting fulfilled and satisfied in
Exactly.
different areas.
Exactly. And like there's no need to fill up that like area where maybe I just felt like I had nothing there or like that was empty. Wow, we're going really deep at the start of the podcast. No, but it's really
Yeah.
interesting. Like it's been a reflection for me the past like week or so.
Look, to be honest, I don't know how you've lasted this long. I just can't not think of anything like more draining than
It is
just
so
swiping,
draining.
starting an initial conversation with
And then
someone.
the fact is I just
getting
leave
nowhere.
them. I'd leave them and move on to the next person, leave them. So
And then you
then-
just have to do that awkward like starting conversation again every single time.
Exactly. It's so bad. I don't know why I did it. I don't know. But I'm glad I've developed or slowly
What is
developed.
funny about that?
Oh, as I get a message from Hinge saying somebody commented on your photo. Like I still have them, but
Yeah.
like I'm not actively on them. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's been some. I'm just gonna go into my life update now since we're on
Sure,
that
how you
track.
doing?
I'm doing
How you been?
okay. I was about to say amazing. We have not been amazing this like week, but like low key, like getting on track with my life. Like I've got a new trainer, so that's been going good. Work. And the
Wait, your fruit store, you love it. No,
fruit store.
plant store.
I love
You
it.
love it?
Yeah, love it. Love
Oh,
it.
no.
No, it's still like a good job. It's just like I need stability, I think. Maybe I don't. Maybe this is me trying to learn to like deal with life without stability or without like structure.
What? Because your shifts are like so spontaneous and stuff.
So spontaneous. I don't get them often, or like they don't tell us. Like I didn't get my shifts for next week until today. Today's Thursday, by the way.
That would stress me.
like that stresses
Like,
me out.
how are you supposed to plan anything?
Yeah, exactly. And like you saw me before the podcast, I was like,
Yeah.
I was so angry and like a mess because I was like, I'm done. I was like, I'm gonna quit because I was just like so frustrated because like yeah, people want to do things with me or I have like shoots and stuff
Yep.
and I can't do them or like tell them what time I can do them until like my work gets back to me and it's like, excuse me, the next week is in 3 days. Like, let me know.
Do you have any methods of, because I think this is like a common thing, not like a common necessarily this specifically, but just like so much going on. How do we like structure our lives?
Yeah.
Do you like have a process for how
Yeah.
you do that?
Whenever I've actually recently got this pad and it has all the days of the week and like I just write out everything I have on that day
Yep.
or on the next week and try and write it out and then like schedule things around that. In the past couple of weeks, I've just, because I've felt so good, I think I said last episode too, I've just packed myself in with too many things, too many social things and stuff like that, where then I've been a bit drained. But like my main thing is like just do like put in work and then build around work of like other things that I need to do, like the podcast and stuff like that, and then add in like my training and stuff like that too on the same level, and then my last things will be social things, so then I'll
Yep.
put those in between them and like try and space them out, which I've actually been having trouble with because like money, which I suck at, and like social events, like just like try to be like, Ali, you can't do that. Just be like, you need to save or you don't have the money to go out for drinks 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And it's really hard because, like, you know, we're young and we've just been in a pandemic.
Yeah, it is so hard to
Yeah.
say no to things because it's like,
what if we go back into a pandemic as well?
There's FOMO, but then there's also just like you just a fear of not missing out on the situation, but fear of missing out in life, and you get feel like I need to make the most of my young.
Exactly. Yep. So really balancing that, but also like I think my biggest tip is like don't be afraid to be like to friends, look, I'm broke. Can we do something that doesn't include something with money? Like, can we go for a walk? Can we go for a hike? Can we like make food and then go somewhere? You know what I mean?
Yep.
But on that note, a friend of mine has really done really well, and I feel like everybody can relate to this. So I'm going off on a tangent, but a friend does this really well. Hey Adele, if you're listening. But like we do a lot of things together, and like when she messages me, or when I message her, be like, "Do you want to do this?" She'll be like, sometimes, "Oh look, like I really would love to, but I've just my social capacity, like I can't handle it. Like I just need a day off." And like that is so good.
She says that.
Yeah,
well, that's her
like,
statement.
Yeah, well, not like in those words, but she's like, "Look, I just like can't, like because I've been socializing this week. I just like I don't, not that I don't want to, but like I need to just look after myself." And I envy her.
No, that's very related to what I was going to bring up, because I too have just like had a crazy week. The last week was just like insane, and I was just like, oh, there's just so many things happening. And it was Monday, and over the weekend I've got these couple of friends that I used to work with, and they always try and catch up with me, and I'm kind of always, because I'm just a bad responder at stuff, so I would be putting it off. And then over the weekend they were like, okay, just Saturday or Monday work, and I was like, Monday I'm actually free, let's do it Monday. So planning to meet on Monday, and then during that day all these things I was reminded of, and I like put it into my Google Calendar, everything that was happening that week. And I was like, crap, I was like, I don't actually have time to do everything this week, like I just don't. And I was like, oh, do I like ditch tonight? They've been trying for so long to hang out with me. And I was like, no, I'll do it. I've made the promise. I don't like flaking. Anyway, it got to like, I got home from work, and it was like 6 p.m. and we'd planned to kind of meet at 6, but then like, I'll just come whenever. And so I was sitting there at home, and I was literally like, I need tonight to do stuff, because I'm just so busy for the rest of the week. But I was also like, what is the balance? Like I was genuinely stupidly stressed out about this. I was like,
it's not stupid though. Like it's such a reality
between like respecting people enough not to flake on them last minute. Like these people have also like scheduled their week and their night around seeing me, and then to pull out like when I'm supposed to be there. I'm like, what's the balance between respecting them and not being a flaker? Because I hate flaking on stuff. And also just putting yourself first. And being like, and I'm like, I'm all for putting yourself first, but then I'm like, well, sometimes
you have to consider other
take into other people's things.
For sure.
So like, where do you find the line? And then ultimately I didn't go, because I was like, it's stupid, I can't.
Well,
But
I think
I felt terrible.
I think the line definitely changes, but like I think if it's like a regular occurrence, then you really got to be like, then you've got to be like, okay, like we'll stop organizing things. But I think like as a person, like we know shit happens. We know that like life gets hectic and things like that. So we got to take into consideration, hey, if a friend does message me or say I can't do this, that like even if it is last minute and we are. Like, maybe if they were at the restaurant and they were by themselves and you were like, sorry, that's shitty. But if it's like a group thing and like you're pulling out or you haven't even met up with them yet or they're not even there, like I think that's okay. And I think like reflecting like on like the reasons why. Like I think there's some reasons like if you literally are so tired or you just have lots of stuff like that, it's like, well, you've got to look after yourself. And like if your week's big and stuff like that and you've got other commitments that stuff like that, like I'm sorry, but a social thing is as important as other things.
But then I'm like, what is busyness? Is busyness real, or is it just like different ways of using your time?
That is true. I have trouble with that. Prioritizing time is really difficult for me, time management.
I personally tend to happen a lot because I just like say yes to every opportunity. I'm like, I hate to say no to stuff. I'm like, I can't turn down this because it could lead to this or be good for this. So I say yes to everything and I'm like, oh crap. I got no time.
But then you burn yourself out. Then you don't have enough time to actually... Or like you get there and you're not having a good time because you're thinking about stressing.
No, I was like, I want to be miserable if I go.
You're going to be stressing about all the stuff you've got to do. So like you're not present and they can tell that. Friends can tell that. So it's like, you know the time's going to be bad. So why would you go? But I guess, as I said, it's situational.
Be honest with people.
Exactly.
Map your days out.
Yeah.
Realize you can't do everything.
No.
But also...
You're not a robot. Like, that's the thing. And even, like, lots of people, like, fill everything in, but then they literally don't take any time for themselves to, like, even rest. Like, it's not even about, like, doing things consistently. It's like, well, have you carved out time to, lay on your bed and just think or like process what you've done.
That's actually a good idea to carve out time specifically for it. I mean, I think it's like people, it's a common thing kind of, but because I never do that, but then I do end up having like some downtime and then I'll typically waste it like on my phone.
Sure.
So I'm like,
That's
I
me
actually, because that's a good idea. Like when you're putting stuff in your week or when I'm like putting stuff in the calendar, it's like put in an hour on like a Saturday or a couple of hours to like read a book. Because like would love to read a book, but I don't end up because like you don't make that one of your things on your to-do list.
And then those 3 hours you spend on your phone watching TikTok. No, that's me too though. But like, I feel like if you like schedule in something like it's kind of like something you have to do. Like it's as if somebody else is like gonna be there reading a book with you. So you have to make sure you're gonna do it, rather than being like, oh, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. Although
it's like if I find time, but then you're like, oh, but there's something more productive I could be doing.
Exactly.
But then you end up procrastinating that. Everything just goes back to TikTok.
or just like, I don't know, doing stupid stuff that could be done in like 10 minutes, but you prolong it for like 2 hours.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Damn, this just turned into a convo about like time management.
Yeah, we love.
Put yourself first.
I think it's time. To have a conversation with Carlos. That was so awkward.
Wow, the sweat has started. Ali's like wiping herself.
Stress out. No, but we've got to leave you. We've got to bring in something new. We've got to add some spice to this conversation. It is time for Carlos, guys.
Let's head to our conversation.
I'm so excited. All right, bye.
Guys, we are back and we are joined by Australian superstar Carlos Sanson. How are you, Carlos?
Superstar's a bit of a stretch, but I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. I was gonna say rising star, but I was like, rising is rising, but he's already super enough.
Yeah, like you're established.
Thank you.
No,
so
we're
we're going to get into all things Carlos Sanson, his career up until this point, everything going on with him. But for starters, Carlos, we like to start by asking guests just for a little insight into your life. What is a typical day in your life like? What does it look like?
I'll wake up.
You have a typical day at this point.
No, I guess things are always sort of changing in the field of work that I do, but I wake up. I like to wake up early, and I'll try and do some sort of exercise, whether that be swimming or going to the gym, a bit of boxing. Then I'll, depending on if I have any work to do, I'll usually eat the frog and I'll get the stuff done that's not as enjoyable done. and then
get it out of the way, really.
Yeah, get out of the way. And then, I'll usually try and see a friend or try and get a coffee in the afternoon or something like that. Maybe play game of chess.
Afternoon. Coffee in the afternoon. That's dangerous.
Coffee and chess. When I say coffee, it's like we sit down, we have a coffee, and we play some chess.
I think that's my enjoyable day. Chess is a thing I do. I forced once Theo to play chess with me at like the state library. He did not enjoy it. I won.
Very nice.
But
I think if you know
are
what
you
you're
a
doing,
competitive
it can be a
person?
vibe, but
I'm a very competitive person. I'm not actually very good at chess. In fact, out of my friends, I'm probably the worst. But I enjoy it nonetheless, you know?
Do you go into it like we are sitting here and we're going to play until like, even though you're in like a draw situation, you're like, we're going to go until one of us is lost?
Yeah, no, we go to the end. We don't, there's no backing out. Once you sit down for a game of chess with me, it's do or die. There will be a winner or there will be stalemate.
I think the worst is stalemate though. It's really depressing. I've versed like online with some friends from the UK and it's disheartening. I'm like, I should have won. I should have got checkmate. But
well, it's disappointing when it's your fault. Like, you know, like when you take your pawn to the end, you could have, you know, you took a queen because you're being greedy when you should probably taken a rook, and then because you took the queen, it ends up being still, you know, it's like, yeah. Anyway, does this competitiveness like feed into your acting? Like, do you take it through to that? Yeah, that's a great question, actually. For sure. Yeah. I'm a very competitive person, and you know, the thing about acting and being an actor is there is only one person for the job, and it's a very competitive industry if you choose to go down it. And I like to sort of adopt the mindset that, you know, there can only be one, and you know, you have to be at the top of your game if you want to, you know, do well.
Does that mean
For
that when
sure.
you audition for like a role, you find it hard to let go of it? Like, do you get kind of obsessed over the role and it's like, I need to get it? Or can you have a bit of a relaxed approach to it? Like for you
I think
personally?
definitely when I first started, it was definitely like every role was, I needed to get this role.
Yeah.
But,
it becomes my life.
Yeah. Because, and you get swept with the idea of, you know, where you would be filming and who you'd be working with and the streaming channel that you'd be on. And that's like a trap that I think a lot of actors fall into. And I think over time I've learned to, I mean, it's like a weird balance though, because I'm still very competitive and I take my work very seriously. But at the same time, there's an element of, you just sort of have to let them come in and let them go. So I used to keep, at the end of every audition, I used to keep every script, every side, and I'd put it away and it'd be like, whether I got this one or not, I've done this one. And I had like a folder of like all my auditions for like 8 months. And it was just like a ridiculous amount of waste of paper, really.
And storage. That could be better use of storage.
Yeah. Really
Filing
dumb
is not
now that I
fun.
look at it. Yeah. But now when I do an audition, I'll print it off, waste of paper, and then I'll throw it out. Like as soon as I've sent it off, I'll throw the audition, the sides out, and I'll just forget about it, really.
Letting go of your hoarding habits, resorting to minimalism in 2021.
Exactly. I should switch to what are those, Kindles? I should switch to Kindles.
But
That's
then
my
you'll
next
just
step.
hoard them on your
Digital.
Kindles though.
True.
You'll hoard them, you'll have
2021
them
and you're
just like
using
stacked
paper.
up.
So you're obviously smashing it at the moment with all kinds of roles, specifically Bump, which has been such a huge success. So congratulations to you on that. But I'm interested in hearing kind of back to the start, because I feel like everyone at some point in their life, particularly like when they're young, says like, I want to be an actor. Like everyone has that aspiration. Yeah. But you actually
Did you want to be an actress?
Oh, for like 6 years, I was like, I'm going to be an actor. No, didn't happen. Obviously, didn't take it any further, but I was invested. Drama, everything.
But you actually did make it happen, unlike Ali and lots of people listening. You're there.
Just like cuts into me.
Yeah. Where did the process like start for you? Or like when did that first drop into your mind? Like, this is what I want to do. And how? I think
I always knew, like when I was little, I always sort of remember wanting, like telling myself like privately. But like I sort of thought I was sort of embarrassed to say it publicly. And I never really thought about it seriously and like I was always good at drama in junior school, and I did like plays when I was little, but it wasn't until I did a high school play in year 10. I did Arthur Miller's The Crucible. And
really dark for you. Dark for your first like hardcore one.
It was dark for the whole year, but it was like a really, really enjoyable experience. And I played Reverend Hale, and it was like quite a big role. It wasn't the lead, but it was like big role. An important figure nonetheless. And I remember like sort of finishing the first show and like feeling so alive and being like, holy shit, I need to make this my living. Like this is what I need to do when I finish school. If I can do this for the rest of my life and get paid for it, well then happy days, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that was the first time that I started to talk about it amongst peers and family after that play. But I didn't really do anything professionally, or I didn't try and take any professional avenues while I was still in school. I just took drama more seriously as a subject. And then the HSC came along, and you have like in New South Wales and Sydney, you do like a final individual project, just like an 8-minute monologue. And I took that it was very, very nerve-wracking.
I think that's why I
still have it
become an
memorized?
actor. I dropped out before that. I was like, I can't do a monologue.
It definitely filters out the ones who don't want it.
What are you trying to say?
Well, because a lot of people do drama for blood in high school, you know. And and then when they hear that they're going to have to be on stage for 8 minutes just by themselves.
What was your monologue? What did you choose?
I wrote my own, and I based it off. And any Modern Warfare listeners, I based it off Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And I was a private, and I'd lost my leg in Afghanistan, and it was the story of his recovery and rehab, and how he was gay, and how he loved the man that was blown up next to him. It was quite emotional.
Oh, wow, they must have like taken that, like what, you're 18, they're like, this guy is serious. He's written his own monologue. He's taken all these like social elements and
Yeah,
done it himself?
I actually got sort of shunned for it, like because it's like you're supposed to just pick a monologue that's already written, and I didn't really want to do that. Like there'd been talk that you could write your own if you wanted to, but no one really does it. And then I sort of went with that idea and I did it.
Got to go against the grain to stand out, right?
And I guess that's why you're the one that made it.
All because of that monologue.
Yep. Let's go with that.
Did you cop much kind of flack for like pursuing a creative when you were younger, like in high school and like being in the plays and whatnot?
I think I was very lucky. I had a very supportive group of friends, and they're still my best friends now. And they were also very creative in different elements like music and art, and so I think I was very lucky that I felt very supported. I changed schools in year 9, and I think that played a major. I went to Redham, and I think that changed a lot for me because that the environment at that school was very supportive of creative pursuits and whatever it is you wanted to do. And I think the friends that I made at that school played a massive role in making me feel supported and like that I was good enough, I guess, because I guess there is a lot of bullying can sort of happen and judgment for anyone who wants to be like in the creative arts, especially for males. I think like it can be associated with, you know, if you're not a footy player, then you're not.
Especially in Australia.
Especially in Australia, then you're not cut out to be one of the cool guys. So I was lucky with the friend group that I have to feel so supported in pursuing that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So talk us through, you finished year 12. How do you go about like pursuing acting? Like, was there an agent? Like, did you just sit down and research what to do?
Because I know stressful when it's like there's no direct pathway.
People are like, you know, always want to become that, but they don't know where to go. It's overwhelming. It's like you kind of look at these sketchy sites and you're like, should I apply?
Yeah, and it's probably not something that like most people around you are also encouraging that much, or like your careers dude at school is probably like, acting's not like the most secure area you could go into.
Yeah, for sure. My careers advisor, like I actually remember sitting down with my careers advisor, and she didn't know, and she was like, talk to your drama teacher. So I talked to my drama teacher, and she was like, try Screenwise, try NIDA, audition for NIDA, and audition for Screenwise. So I got my applications and I auditioned for NIDA, and I got like quite far into the audition process, but then the feedback they told me was that I was too young, and to come back next year, but I didn't want to wait a whole other year, so I tried that other spot, Screenwise. I auditioned for Screenwise with like a week to go before the course started. Like it was very last minute. And I got in with my best friend. We both auditioned, Tom Watson and I, and we both got in together.
That's dream.
Well, nice.
That's something you like picture like when you're younger. Like, yeah, me and my best friend are gonna be actors and we're gonna get seriously.
in. There's a TV show in itself.
No,
there you go. Create your own.
I swear, I call them What an Our Life should be a TV show.
Do it. Honestly, you wrote your own monologue. Why not just make that into a 10-episode show? Yeah. Yeah. So I went to straight out of high school, went into Screenwise, and then that was a full year, 2-year full-time diploma course. And there it was really, really good for me because like I had no idea. I have absolutely no idea where to start, how to get an agent, I didn't even know what a casting director was, like, you know, so I had like no idea. So Screenwise really sort of gave me the foundation and a good understanding of how the industry works and what to sort of expect. And then graduated from Screenwise, and they do like a big showcase. I think all drama schools do this. It's like an end of year showcase, and agents come to watch and see the new talent. It's I think of it as like the NBA draft pick. You know, the NBA teams come to pick who they want for the new season.
And do you know who you are, or are you like on stage looking out in the crowd like, oh, it could be that person? Is it that person coming in? Yeah,
like we got briefed on different agents and sort of the different hierarchy of the agencies. Yeah, you knew who the big shots were, and I'm just picturing you probably haven't seen it, but like High School Musical at the end where there's those two agents and they just stand up. Yeah, like... it's honestly like that. It's a cliche, but it is honestly like that. Yeah. Like, so High School Musical got it right, guys. High School Musical got it right. Yeah, so there were agents in the crowd clapping at the end of the grad, and my agents now picked me up at the end of grad. And so then the professional relationship started working as I finished drama school. And that's like a whole other sort of thing that we could go into if you wanted to. But yeah, sort of working with them they were like, it would be really great because I'm American as well. I have my US passport.
Oh, dual citizenship?
Dual citizenship, yeah. Really fortunate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky. Very lucky because for Australians to get over to the US, it can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
Sure.
Once they thought I was ready, as far as the quality of work that I was putting down and the auditions that I was taping for and that type of stuff, they encouraged me to sort of think about going over to the US. One, because a lot more opportunity.
Yeah, we're going to ask about that. We've done our research.
Yeah.
But it must, obviously Australian television, you see not a lot of things come out regularly, but like Hollywood, it's consistent. It's always like lots of different people, new faces. Was it like a choice because you it was difficult here, or were you just like, I'll go to America first?
Yeah, it was sort of, I wasn't having great luck in Australia. I was like getting callbacks, and there were a couple nibbles here and there from casting directors, and even directors. Like I was meeting with directors, and producers were saying like they love me, but because I'm South American and from Nicaragua and Cuba, my look and my name and didn't really fit.
So annoying.
Yeah,
because it's like,
but that's so weird because it's not like Australia isn't multicultural.
It's so odd to me. It's like you look on the street and there's not one person that kind of looks the same as another person, but in like Australian television, it's blonde hair, blue eyes, very surf coast, and I'm like, but that's not what we look like at all.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. And I think specifically for Latinos, before Bump, which we'll get into, but like there was I don't actually think there's been ever any representation of us. On Australian at all. I can't. I've googled it. I can't find anything. And sort of like I sort of also understood where casting judges coming from, because sometimes it was like a period piece, and we were in 1900s in rural Australia, and you're right, there were no South Americans in that time, and I get that. So I was like, okay, let's just go to where there are, and like there's an abundance of work for South American Latinos over in America. There's like 4 different narcos, like, you know what I mean? There's like heaps of roles for me there. So that was sort of the impetus to go over to the States.
And then you booked jobs.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was straight away, but like you got Malibu Rescue and then Legacies, which is massive.
Yeah, it was crazy. 8 days into arriving, I booked Malibu Rescue, which is like,
wow. And you're like, okay, I made the right decision.
Yeah.
You're like, sorry, America, should I stay?
I ain't coming back.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, that was meant to be.
Was that transition just terrifying though? Or were you like, no, I want to do acting so bad that it's easy for me to make this decision? Or were you like, I'm leaving behind everything, Australia?
Nah, yeah, it was really, really difficult. It was like I was leaving family. I was leaving like living at home. I was leaving all my friends, those supportive friends that I told you about in high school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, my family as well is a massive one. Like it was really, really scary for me. And I think I'm so lucky to have booked early on, because, you hear stories of people who go there for years and don't get anything.
And like alone, I could not.
And alone, yeah. No, honestly, I definitely don't have any doubt in my resilience and in my dedication. But like, I'm not saying it would be easy if like, no one wants to be there not booking work and working as a waiter, just like scrunching it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not ideal at all.
No.
Have you seen like a difference working in LA, like on LA sets to Australia? Like obviously now you booked Bump, but like have you seen a massive difference compared to like Hollywood?
Yeah. There is like an energy in LA that you can't really replicate. It's like
a hustle mentality.
Yeah, it's showbiz town. It's like everyone there's trying to be somebody, and everybody thinks they're somebody. So. It's about filtering out the difference between the two. I think like coming back to Australia was really nice. Like everyone on set, like from the producers down to the clapper on crew, like everyone is just super humble and down to earth, and like, and maybe sometimes in America and in Hollywood, it's not as much. You get personalities, and there's definitely feels more of like a hierarchy in terms of what you as an actor feel you can bring to the table and your creative opinion and things like that. But I guess also it was the role. I guess coming back to Australia, when I booked Bump, it was a lead role, so this show sort of revolves more around my character and the other characters.
You're like, I am the star now.
Well,
Bow down, hierarchy. I am the hierarchy.
Yeah, there's no hierarchy because you are enough. No,
so you actually came back to Australia because you were probably expecting to be gone for quite a while. You're like, okay, goodbye family, goodbye friends. I'm going to be American famous. And then
I planned for. I was working retail and I'd saved enough money to get me what I thought was 3 months.
Yeah.
In hindsight, if I hadn't booked Malibu, then that would have lasted me maybe a month and a half. I didn't realize how expensive it was to live by yourself and have to cook for yourself and pay rent and all those things.
Yeah.
So
bills,
thank God.
transport, especially in LA.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, Ubers are ridiculous. You have to Uber everywhere because you can't walk anywhere.
No public transport, really.
And you're like, if I'm going to be in a beach,
fucked.
like a teen beach movie, I can't be eating like McDonald's every day. Like, I need that.
No, exactly.
Splurge on proper meals.
Yeah, and just splurge on proper meals in LA. It's you're spending about $50 US a meal, which is like
my bank account's screaming.
That's almost double in Aussie, and obviously I went over with Aussie money, so everything was half. So whatever I went over with,
so
was
you went
half
over
of what actually
3 months, and really it was a month and a half, and then with extra costs, you had like 2 weeks.
You were 8 days in. You're like, either I get this job or I have to fly home tomorrow.
I'm flying home tomorrow. Yeah. What were we saying?
Yeah, you had to return.
Pandemic.
Yeah.
Corona.
Yeah. So I actually went on a holiday. So over Christmas, I met 3 of my best friends, that same group I was talking about, over in South America. They flew from Australia and I came down from North America and South America. And I obviously had worked professionally, so I had enough money to go on the holiday. It was the best 8 months of my life. Like, I went from Malibu to then I spent a month and a half in Atlanta. So I was in LA from Malibu. Yeah, then went to Atlanta to film Legacies. Then from Atlanta, I spent a bit of time in Miami with my grandma. And then from Miami, flew down to South America, holidayed, and then came back to LA. And that was where
life as a movie star, really.
Yeah, it was sort of surreal. It was nuts. It was crazy. It was very, very, very. It was awesome. But I came back and I had to make the decision because at that point I'd been gone for a lot longer than I expected. 3 months was what I'd planned. So by the time I got back, I had to make the decision whether I was going to move here like permanently or whether I was going to do pilot season there and then come back, or whether I was just going to come back now. And I finally this was like tossing and turning in my head for maybe like 3 weeks. I was like really sort of stressed about it because I was sort of homesick. I miss family. And I decided to stay. I was like, I'm going to tough it out. I'm going to wait for the next job and I'm going to do the LA grind. And then like that day that I made the decision in my head, Trump made that presidential address to the nation saying like coronavirus is a thing. NBA
is canceled.
Yeah. When I saw that the NBA had shut
that was like the
season,
first thing. That was crazy.
That's when you knew. Yeah.
That's when I knew. I was like, oh, this is fucked. This is going to fuck the whole world. So I sort of like took a complete 180 and I was like, and I wasn't sure if I was like using coronavirus as an excuse to sort of want to go home.
Damn it. Looks like I have to go back.
I was like, am I being weak right now? Like, am I, but I think in hindsight, I made the right decision.
Well, look where you are now. Like,
were you kind of aware at that point that you're leaving America and you're like, did you kind of have in your mind that you probably wouldn't be able to go back for who knows how long? I guess no one really knew at that point. But when I left, I was like, I'm just going to go back for like a month, and then this coronavirus thing will blow over.
It'll be over.
And then I'll be back.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's great, it works well. I get to spend time with family, get a little bit of like a reboost, and then I'll go back to LA. Yeah, but then when I got back home, it was sort of became apparent that wasn't going to be the case. And then auditions, I guess, started coming through in that lockdown. Remember we were in that heavy lockdown, the nation lockdown.
Yeah, that first one.
Was it intimidating coming back and being like, yikes, I might have to go back to my retail job. I'm like, if I have
retail,
to go back
we were in lockdown there.
No, but seriously, yeah. When I got back, it was like, okay, well, the film industry's been put on hold. The film capital LA is completely shut down. So all the momentum that I had in LA was sort of put to a stop, and that was like very scary actually. And then I sort of had that same question that I had before I went to LA, where I was like, well, there's no roles really here for me in Australia. We've experienced that. what am I going to do? I guess I can keep auditioning for stuff and getting close and then getting turned back, but I'm probably going to have to end up working that retail job again.
But it's also like, have you not seen me on ABC in America? Have you not seen me on Legacies? Like, I can't go back to retail.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got to swallow your pride there, and you got to do what you got to do to pay the bills.
True,
but
true, okay. Humble yourself a bit.
Yeah, you can't think like that, I guess, in those situations. But
you're like, hey, Kmart, you know that job I ditched you on? Well, I'm now like a household name. Am I bringing some extra customers? So
I'll actually be back and take you up on that delivery job that I turned down.
But so you auditioned for Bump. My question is, was the whole Carlos Santi role already written in, or was it written in for you when you auditioned?
No, it was I think Bump had been in production for over 2 years.
Okay.
Wow.
And obviously it had been doing rewrites and all that stuff. And Claudia had been working with Kelsey Munro and Claudia Carvin had been developing the show. So Santi was already like a written character.
Okay. So you just were a perfect fit.
It was just one of those like gel moments where like the brief came through and it was literally me. Like growing up as a 16-year-old in Australia, it was literally I remember my agent said, like, Carlos, you don't book this, then
there's something wrong with you.
Then I don't know what we're gonna do in the future. And yeah, I definitely felt like there's a feeling that I got when Diego for Legacies that audition came through. I was like, okay, if I just do a half-ass job, if I do like half my job, then I'm gonna get it. This is something about when you read the brief and the timing of it and what they're looking for. There's a feeling that I had felt before, like with Legacies, and I was like, okay, well, I have it again for this one. And yeah, the audition process was pretty straightforward. Like I put an initial tape down, I sent that, and then the morning after, Kirsty McGregor said, can we see some more? I put more down, and then it was about a week. I didn't hear anything, and then they asked, does he have any short films, any other stuff that we can watch? So I sent a bunch of short films that I had done before I left to LA, and then also when I just got back from LA, and then then they offered me the role.
Amazing.
Wow.
We love.
So when you were on, so obviously Bumper's kind of blown up now. When you were like on the set, you're filming, you're doing your thing. Is there, can you kind of have a sense that like, oh, this is going to be good? Or is it just impossible to tell? You're like, who knows how this is going to turn out? Yeah,
I've been asked that question a few times. Like, you don't.
Oh, damn it, we're not original.
It is a good question though, because you don't. Like when I get a job, I'm so thankful to have a job because it's so rare, I guess. And you don't think at all about the end product. You're just sort of like doing the best you can that day and surviving that day on set and hoping that you don't fuck it up. And I think like the crew and everyone had such a great time on Bump. That was sort of, there was an energy there, and there was such great chemistry between everyone in the cast. And I think that is always a good indication. But then I was talking to Claudia, and Claudia was like, sometimes on the projects that I've worked on where everyone got along, those are the worst projects because everyone's having too much fun. So then on the work mode. So she
confidence dropped.
Yeah. So she told me about that, and I was like, well, actually, she said that after it came out, so we don't need to worry about that point. But she was like, I think she expressed, she was like, I was worried at one point, like, oh shit, is this gonna flop? But yeah, I never really thought about the end product and whether it was gonna do well critically or whether the audience was gonna like. I was just focusing on trying to do my job the best I could.
I saw a quote which said that like recording TV is like 95% terror and 5% boredom. What was? Do you resonate with that quote at all, or you sound like it was a pretty positive experience for you? Like, what was like the day-to-day of acting, rocking up, doing a script?
Honestly, you could probably swap that around: 95% boredom, 5% terror, because there's so much waiting. There's so much waiting around on a film set. I mean, like this is what people don't get. Like on a film set, you're setting up shots, and so your job as an actor is only really like for that period of time where you call action and cut. That's your 5. That's why the 5% terror and 95% boredom works better in my. I
actually just realized I read the quote out wrong. You were right. It is 5% terror, 95% boredom.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because that is sort of what it's like, because there's a lot, but I mean, it's not really boredom. I think that's at least maybe on some jobs, but on the jobs that I've done, it's always so exciting. You're always having so much fun with crew and on the cast, and it's being on a set is like being in a theme park. It's that same sort of excitement, and you feel like a kid again. And it's like, yeah. And like, when you're setting up and they're about to call action, it's like when you're about to go on the ride. It's like, oh, I'm about to go on the roller coaster, and then they call cut, and you're like, oh, I want to go again.
Yeah.
You're like, so should we do another take? Was that bad?
Yeah. I actually like stumbled my words a bit in that one. Do you want to do it
again? Yeah, for sure.
So your character, Santi, you said like he was the perfect role for you, like you really resonated with him. Like, in what ways do you think that was? Like, obviously not that I've read, maybe you have had a kid when you were 16. Was it just the personality, the like family dynamic? Like,
yeah, I think like the culture was a big thing growing up, like born in Australia, but from Chile and from like South American heritage. Like, I knew what it was like to be sort of in the middle. And what that's sort of like growing up in like an Australian society, as like having that cultural plate, I guess. Yeah.
Questioning yourself like 24/7.
Yeah. And also like, your parents at home are speaking Spanish, but then you go to school and everyone, like you're all like the teachers speaking English, and you sort of have this weird sort of personality thing where you don't know where you sit. So like I definitely felt like that was a big thing when I first read it, and when I first read like the few first whatever they sent us. So I think it was like an episode when we auditioned. I think also just like Santi's cheekiness and his sort of troublemaking habits were very similar to me when I was younger.
The weed addiction.
Yeah, the weed heavily on the
random
drugs.
men's house.
Yeah. But no. And then also like, he loves football, and I loved all sports, but football was definitely one that I really enjoyed. But then I was also, heavily into my drama, and I've told you guys, I started taking that quite seriously in year 10. And it was like, I was balancing what it was like to sort of be really into your sports, but also be really into your creative pursuit. So it was like Santi also has that, where he's drawing is like his everything, but then also football, he loves it and he's very talented at it.
Were they your own drawings?
Oh.
Did they make you draw?
Let me think about this. Of course they were.
I thought so.
Yeah. No, the artist, he's very, very talented. I think he's from Colombia. And he was crazy. Like he was crazy. Like the creators or directors would sort of just like ask him what they wanted or what they needed, and he like within days he would just sort of like have these photos of Ollie, or like the backdrop for my room, or like even in Ep 8, I think it's the little presentation that Ollie puts up on a laptop. That's the drawings that Santi has done. Awesome. Yeah, like that's not easy to do, and I'm pretty sure he did it very quickly on demand. So
and then you just hold them and be like, these are mine.
You're like taking the full credit for it.
Fully. I remember like we would get close-ups where like it's me drawing, and I would like
you're just like going over.
I was like, I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to ruin this.
You have to do multiple takes. You're like, oh damn, over and over again.
What was it like having that kind of such a big cultural aspect on the show? Did it make kind of the role feel way more personal and special for you?
Yeah, for sure. It felt like I said, I just spent that summer in South America, and there was an energy there with the people that like I didn't think you could ever find anywhere else apart from South America. I mean, obviously I have it at home, but as far as like a place where you can go and find that energy. And then all of a sudden on set, I started feeling the same way that I felt when I was traveling, just from being on set with the Hernandez family. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, this is insane that we're actually going to like record it, and it's going to be on television for like Australia to watch. Do you know what I mean? Because it's never happened before. Yeah. Sure. So it was really, really special. And it also felt like we were like the first ones, like as a family, as an on-screen family, like we were the first ones to pioneer it, like, it's quite special.
Like you guys are going to be the blueprint from now on in Australia.
In a way, yeah. In a way, it's nice to think, but yeah.
And then I guess seeing people, like the way that people have responded to that, it's like, well, clearly it's kind of working. So hopefully it can
And
inspire
what people
more
need,
of it in the
yeah.
future.
Yeah, I definitely hope that it'll set a standard for future projects and like future creators and people who are writing now to see that it does work, and then and audiences do respond to it, and it is something that people enjoy and want to see more of.
Speaking of the response, I binge. I remember, not binge, Bump. Sorry, too many streaming services. But I binge watched Bump, I think the day it came out. So I was just like in my room, I was sick, and I was like, I need something to watch. And I was up all night completely like watching it. But it's blown up, and it's been less than a month. And I drive through the city, and there's huge
So many billboards.
I'm driving, there's it on bus stations. How have you dealt with like this response? Obviously, you've had a bit of recognition from your work, but this is like another level.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's insane. Like, it's surreal. Like, I don't really know how to describe it, I guess, but I guess it is very nice to see all the hard work and all the sort of sacrifice leading up to it and the rejections, and to see it and to see Bump sort of up there and to be recognized, and like, you know, just walking around my neighborhood where I grew up in, and then to see like the posters where I used to hang out as a kid. It's like,
yeah, right.
It means it's actually very special for me. It's like, yeah, it means quite a lot.
You're like,
that's how at least
me. I used to sit there. No.
Yeah.
Now my face is there consistently.
Yeah, and like, you know, family, friends see it, and I've got messages from people who I haven't spoken to in years have been like, hey, I saw the trailer, I saw you on a billboard, or I just watched the show. Yeah, and it's like, it is nice. It's very special.
Have you dealt with a lot of kind of recognition in the street from fans and viewers? And how do people usually kind of respond when they see you? And do you like it? Or are you like, I'm just trying to get my coffee?
Or you're like, I just want to get my coffee and play chess. Like,
yeah, it hasn't got to I've been speaking with Natalie Morris a lot about it, because we both sort of been in the same boat. And it's not at a point where it's like an invasion of privacy. Like, sure. I really don't mind it. It's like every now and then someone will sort of look at you and maybe you like try and get your attention, and you won't like, be sure.
Is me?
Yeah. And a lot of
it's
times
me.
it's like, I'm like, but a lot of the time I'm not sure if they're looking at me, and you don't want to be rude as well.
You don't want to be, yes, I know, guys. I am
Carlos. If you want a photo, just ask.
Yeah, it is a nuts sort of thing. It's never happened to me before, but yeah, again, it's nice to be recognized, and it's nice to be appreciated for your work, because it is, you know, it means a lot to me, and it is a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice that's gone through the years in the making. So it's nice to be, you know, applauded for it.
For sure.
For sure.
Me and my friends and I have been obviously obsessed with Bump, and in turn, like you, because like you're the heartthrob. How are you going to navigate becoming, like, it's been a month, you've already blown up. There's so many more
your
people
DMs
watching
just
it.
like exploding?
Yeah, like you're becoming the Australian heartthrob. Like Chris Hemsworth, Liam Hemsworth, who? Like
Carlos Sanson.
Yeah.
No, I told my sister, even I was talking to you tonight, and she's like, let him know that I'm willing to relocate. Like,
legit. Everybody's like, I was like, oh yeah, we've got Carlos. They're like, who? Bump? They're like, I'm sorry, just say hi for me. I'm like, all right.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't.
Sorry, no.
I don't know. Yeah, just
too humble.
Too
humble for this question.
Yeah, there's been a lot of DMs, and they've been like the best ones are the ones either from South Americans who have been so like grateful to have their culture represented on screen, and like that. Those are the ones that I've really resonated with. Yeah, and then also a lot of teen mums have actually messaged.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I wouldn't know. Like, it makes sense, but I wouldn't have put that as a factor.
Yeah, I never really thought that would sort of happen, but I think Natalie's got a lot as well, and they've sort of reached out to saying thank you for doing this, like a story like this, such justice, and so truthful, because I guess having a kid at such a young age can be a traumatic experience. And
especially when you don't know that you're pregnant.
Yeah.
I think that adds another factor, which it honestly happens so much more often than we think. Like,
Does it? I was about to ask
after watching Bump, my mom was like, "Oh yeah, that show. My colleague at work, his daughter just had a baby and she didn't know she was pregnant." And I was like, "Oh
wow!"
I was like, the timing.
I think it's one. Crazy. I think it's 475 pregnancies.
Wow!
Pregnancies.
Which is
that's got to be one of the hardest things. And I guess also because most of the only representation of like teen mums is shows like Teen Mum, where it's like crazy mums, crazy lives.
Like, crazy, sort of like bogans and sort of crazy people. But it's like that's not the true depiction of what it's like. Yeah.
Now you've probably got this question also a lot. But did it make you more or less keen to have a baby in this point in your life? Like were you
holding the baby on set?
Holding
the baby on set, you're like, should I have one?
Yeah.
I feel like I have experienced all I need to for now.
Like, I'm good for the next 30 years.
Good for now. Yeah.
You have the opposite effect. You're like, I'm done with growing babies.
Yeah. No, like I get the best of both worlds. You know, like I get to hold the baby and be cute with it, but then once you
you're like,
crying,
okay, guys.
someone takes it from me, and I don't have to deal with the difficult part. No, I think it sort of I had to access, paternal instincts that I've never had to. I guess sort of with my siblings. I guess with my siblings, I've had it, but not to the extent where it's like an infant, and it's like So I think
was it the same baby the whole way through, or did they switch babies?
There were multiple babies.
I thought so because I was watching it. I was like, I swear last episode there was a little slight difference, but
but each baby could only work 2 hours a week.
Oh wow!
So
makes sense.
So think about
it. Is like, how does a baby even like get into the film scene? Like, that's interesting. Such an
like you have a baby and you're like, I want this baby to be in TV shows.
You're like, I've spent 22 years of my life grinding for this, and this baby just comes out of the womb and it's a star of a TV show. Like,
yeah. I think there's something. I think there's a company called Bump, funnily enough, and it's an agency, like a talent agency, but for babies. So you you sign your baby up, and then if they need him,
I'm gonna sign my unborn child up. My unborn child. I will be like in the future, just like in the womb, I'll be like, you're gonna be famous.
Yeah.
But no, because like when they come out, and like obviously when you need like a fresh newborn baby, like how old is it? Like that's my question. Like, is it like 3 hours old? Is it a week old? Like, who knows?
I think it sort of changed. Like we had like babies that were a couple months old, and then babies. Yeah, like there were also bigger babies and small babies. But
I love this. Us quizzing you on babies now. Everyone just expects you to be a baby expert now that you've done like a baby TV show.
Yeah.
I'm interested in hearing like do you have any like standout moments from your time on set of Bump or on any of your other kind of sets, like any super memorable or just kind of the best moments for you?
I remember like when I was filming Malibu Rescue, there was one scene, like the final scene where Tyler, the main dude, and Wayno, my character, were like the last two left to win the Beachmaster, which is like what the movie's about.
Yeah.
And like there was over like maybe 300 extras on set, and it was like this obstacle course which we had to do. And I remember sitting there with Ricardo, and like it was in between takes, and we were like both looking at each other like, what? This is insane. Like there's a whole like audience of people like cheering for us, but it's all fake, you know what I mean? Like
You're getting hyped up on this fake fake
on
cheers.
This fake train. But I remember that being like a big like. Also, like we had a lot of stunts together, and it felt like we were in Mission Impossible. Like I remember that being really fun. And then
the reason why you become an actor, to feel that stunt.
Yeah, for sure. It's like those moments where you sort of start to pinch yourself. Like, am I just what I'm doing right now?
Am I Tom Cruise?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then on Bump, like similar, there was a scene where I had to ref the football game in like episode 10, I think. And that was a legitimate football game. Like I was refing a legitimate under eights.
What?
It was like it was a splinter unit, a splinter crew, splinter camera unit. And we went on a Saturday, and Ricardo, who plays my dad, he, outside of acting, he runs a little football school, and for his like, two kids. He was like,
little kids, do you want to be famous?
Yeah. He was like, yeah, we can use my team, and we will just bring the camera, and we'll just.
We don't have to pay them.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. So I remember getting there, and Ricardo was like, "All right, here's a here's a whistle. Here's your ref shirt. You're actually going to ref this game." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah. You're actually going to ref the game. I don't have a ref today, but I just got you in." And then the camera's going to follow you around, and you're going to do the scene. And like Claudia was there, and like the director's sort of on the sidelines, and like there's like actual parents from the opposition who are there cheering on their kids, and like I'm reffing this game. And like blowing, because the scene needed me to blow the whistle, and I would blow the whistle, and then all the kids would stop playing. But then the camera's on me, so I can't tell them to keep playing. But
you're like, guys, give me the
I'm like, keep playing. You can keep playing.
Just like kicking the air.
Yeah. But that was, and then also like the halves were on. Like, we had 20 minutes to shoot that scene, so it was like adrenaline to max.
As if acting isn't like enough pressure. It's like now acting.
They're like, we are going to get you to work while you're already working. Like,
yeah.
So when your dad's like, "Yo, you're reffing a game," that's like totally legitimate. You're on the phone. He's like, "Actually, you're reffing a game," and you're like, "It's true. Stop distracting me. Stop calling me."
Yeah. When he was on the sideline there in that scene, and that's all those parents in that shot were legitimate parents. Those weren't extras.
Now I'm going to have to go rewatch this.
Go back and watch it. Yeah.
Go
back and watch. And that goal that gets scored, that's a legit goal. Like it's all
the kids would have been like thriving. They're like, this is our moment.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine being like, I am going to be on TV. I need to show my skills.
The kids loved it. And they were playing around the camera and sort of,
On the opposite vein, I guess, just quickly, like, have you had any like epic fails or super embarrassing moments, like recording anything?
Oh, I remember filming Malibu Rescue. I clogged my toilet with paper towel in my trailer. So I sort of like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what I was doing, but I blew my nose. That's right. I blew my nose with paper towel, and I didn't know.
And the American toilets, they're awful.
Yeah. So it was so I was sort of in my trailer, just blew my nose, put the paper towel in, and then I was like being driven to set. I heard on the radio them go like, the new guys flooded his toilet. The new guys flooded his toilet. I'm like, who are they talking about? Who's the new guy?
No.
And then, and I got driven, and then they had to take me back. They're like, "Do you have any valuables in there?" Because the whole thing had been like, thank God there was no feces or urine. It was just water, because I was just blowing my nose. But like that was just really embarrassing.
And you're like, I just come from Australia. Radio. This is my first like big thing.
Yeah, that's my first thing. And I like trying not to draw attention to myself, and it's like, that was pretty embarrassing.
Well, at least now you've got an answer to this question whenever someone asks. So
exactly.
It's a positive.
Yeah.
Just trying to like, you're really getting to the end of the barrel or something. Digging for an answer. So feel free not to answer this question, but intimate scenes, are they coordinated? Are they awkward? How did you go about that filming? Because obviously first intimate scene.
Yeah, never done it before. It's nuts. There was an intimacy coach, Danielle Mikic, and she was incredible. It was like choreographing a fight.
I was about to say, is it like coordinating a dance? Like
like a dance or a fight or like... And so you would sort of sit down with her and the actress and the director, and you'd sort of talk about the scene, and then you sort of block it through, like movement by movement, till by the end of it you had like a well-crafted, very well thorough idea of exactly what was going to happen. So neither party at any point was ever like, "Whoa, what are you doing?"
And then they're like, now do it with your clothes off.
Yeah.
Hey, that was just for the practice. Now
that was just the practice. Off. Yeah, even in rehearsals, they were like kissing with masks on because it was Corona.
Oh, Corona!
We had to. I remember kissing Natalie with a mask on, and it was like we both just sort of lost it.
Really interesting.
Really, just like kissing ourselves. It was very, very funny. We were like.
Surely that should have been on the outtakes. Like, surely.
Yeah.
Everything else off, but you do have to wear a mask.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, it was really good to have an intimacy coordinator because I guess I just felt safe, and I felt like, especially on set, because the director is sort of directing, and that involves more than just worrying about you. Like they're setting up shots and lights and and they're in their director world. So like sometimes it's nice to just have an intimacy coordinator to be like, hey, I'm not feeling sure about this, or what about this, or what if I want to try that? Yeah.
Was it awkward though? Well, like not for like not the situation, but were you going in like, oh God?
Yeah, like yeah, it sort of was awkward, yeah, but sort of not like
nerve wracking.
Like nerve wracking, but also exciting. Like, you know, it was my first time. I always wondered how it was done on TV, and whenever I watched those scenes, I was like, I wonder how the actors do that.
That's all the listeners. That's what they want to know. Like,
is it all?
I don't know if you've seen the video of like, I don't know what it was, but it's this guy like shooting, like somebody's taking a video of like, there's the camera guy shooting from above, and it's very awkward. And I'm like, what is going on? I was like, I would never see, like, he's holding onto his legs to shake the guy. And I'm like, what?
Right.
For the camera to shake? No, so the camera shakes, so it's like realistic. I don't know. But lots of questions, but thanks for clearing that up a bit.
No, of course. Yeah. And there were awkward moments, but I think the best, like, what was really special was that, like, you could just sort of go into the scene and just be with you and your scene partner and forget about the cameras and the lights, and then when they call cut, then you sort of realize that what you're doing and how everyone's watching.
Like, there's just like this whole crew just like watching.
Yeah.
Now you've done like a bunch of different stuff. We know Bump season 2 is coming, which is super exciting. Were you just like stoked when you got that news?
Yeah, it was insane. It was, I think, Claudia told Natalie and I one day at the beach, and we had to sort of keep it under wraps until it was publicly announced.
Yep.
But I was like, you know, trying not to tell my family and friends. I keep discreet about it.
Why are you so happy?
No reason. I actually remember being in a really bad mood that day, and then I met Claudia and Nat down at the beach, and then like she told me my mood just completely took a 180. I was like, no. But yeah, crazy. And then also to read like that it broke all streaming platform.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Viewings and records, like it happened. You know, they got commissioned for a season 2 within a week of its release, which is like unheard of. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't happen.
Legit, it's crazy.
Stan's probably stoked. They're like, people are actually using us. Yeah.
I'm like, are you Stan? Stan's an iconic. It's better than Netflix at the moment. I'm not gonna lie.
Stan's doing well at the moment.
Yeah, but just to wrap us up, like,
he was like, I will take that back.
What is kind of like your dream role or your dream like career moment, or like what is the kind of thing you would be most excited for in your future of acting?
My dream role is to play Nightwing in a DC Comics movie. It would be Batman, but I feel morally obliged to respect Bob Kane, the creator of Batman, and keep Bruce Wayne traditionally a white male. I think, I and also my lips are too big.
Can Batman not have big lips? Oh.
Nah. Batman's got to have skinny.
He's got the little like tiny thin because he's got the mask.
Yeah. It'd be you reckon you know it was you would know I was Bruce
He'd be
Wayne
like that is Batman. He's walking down the street. I know him.
But also if you're Batman, it's like I'm just another Batman. But Nightwing, it's like this is me.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point as well. No, I can be the first Nightwing. But yeah, to be involved in a DC universe franchise.
So you're stating now you're more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan. That's what I'm hearing. This is going to rile up some controversy right now.
Fuck Marvel. I'll say that.
Really?
I
don't.
That like breaks my heart a little.
DC,
man. Look, I will be the first to admit that cinematically, Marvel have done a great job.
Yeah, because the recent DC movies, I'm sorry, they're not the best.
No, but that's why I'm going to reboot them.
That's why I'm going to be the star.
That's why when I play Nightwing, it's going to change.
Okay, I'll wait. Maybe I'll switch.
Inside, you're like, okay, I know I can admit Marvel's better, but if I want Nightwing, I have to really go all out for DC.
I know that the stories and the comics... The comics are better, DC comics are better, but Marvel just have done well cinematically. And it's a shame because I love DC. But
all right, well, the Nightwing coming Spider-Man to revive DC.
The first initial Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, is good, but that's not part of that whole universe, you know. That's
true. He's his own vibe, or web. But yeah. Okay, we'll see you in DC Cinematic Universe soon. Look out.
All right, but thank you so much, Carlos, for coming on. This has been so much fun and so interesting to just hear everything from you. I'm like, have such a close insight into the acting world, which we don't often get. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Bro, thank you so much, both of you, for asking me.
Everyone go watch Bump. And also,
Legit,
where can
go
people
binge
find
watch
you on?
it.
Are you an active Instagram user?
I am. My Instagram is __star. Follow me.
Go. Do you have Twitter? Anything else people can find you on, or is it just Instagram?
Nah,
is that your main
it's
Too much
place?
to keep up with.
I use Twitter.
Sorry, I forgot. You're a huge actor. Do you not have time?
What is SARS? Like, is that
SARS
after?
Is actually a disease.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that?
But it was the nickname that my friends gave me. The same group of friends. I feel like I brought them up 1,000 times. But they gave me that
They're like,
nickname in
gonna
high
be
school.
hearing this. There's my shout out.
Yeah. They're gonna listen to this and share it. But no, they gave me that nickname because my name's Carlos Sanson, and the amalgamation of both those words, like if you just sort of put into one, it's like Carlos Sanson SARS.
Okay.
SARS.
So it wasn't
no
because
longer
they
the
just couldn't get rid of
disease.
you, and they're like, "This man's a disease."
No, yeah, well, we didn't actually figure out it was a disease until like a couple of years later, and by then
And you already
we were
committed.
Stuck.
You're like,
Yeah, we already committed. And now I'm sort of, I'm committed to reinventing SARS.
pushing through.
Yeah.
Reinventing DC, now reinventing diseases. We love to see
Yeah.
it.
What's
Thanks,
next?
Carlos.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And we're back.
We're back.
By ourselves. Kind of sad about that. He was so nice.
I love Carlos. He was so fun, and
Just like, I felt like, sorry if Carlos, you're listening to this, but I felt like we were friends. Like all we were doing is like, that is
Well, that's
so
nice.
odd. No. But like, I honestly,
it's nice to feel like you're friends.
no, but he was so easy to talk to.
For
he
sure.
Was, not that he wouldn't be normal, not that I was expecting him not to be normal, but I don't know, when you have a big show on Stan, when you have a big show on a streaming service, like
he was very humble and had lots of interesting stuff to say. We are going to get into some people picks.
We are. We are.
And as you guys know, people picks are where you guys send in whatever you want us to talk about for the week, what's been going on, random questions, random stuff. So we've got a few to pick out from today.
Yes. Should I get us started? Should I?
Take it away.
I
these
get
ones,
us
I think we posted on Instagram this week because we like the anonymous stuff, but we want to see a name to a question, a people pick.
Exactly. So, Theo, are there any impactful words from your childhood that are stuck with you? That you think on a daily basis, so that you come back to them, that you're like, oh my God, I still remember. And you're like, you're laying in bed at 3 a.m. and you're like, I still remember that when I was 7. And this is a question by @notsandra, like 3 8s. So thanks for that, Sandra. You're going to make me think about everything too much right now. Some childhood trauma. We love.
Some childhood trauma. One time my mum actually said to me, we were sitting there and I was like about to go to bed and she was talking to me and she leaned over and gave me a kiss on my forehead and said, no, it was very sweet. She said, believe in your dreams and believe in yourself. And that's just something I've always kind of stuck by.
Do you have it on your wall now?
Yeah, it's my phone wallpaper.
I hope everybody knows that you're completely full of shit.
I'm sure she said something like that at some point.
Yeah,
but
definitely didn't stick with you then.
No, literally the only advice I've ever got from anyone that stuck with me was one time I was boogie boarding, love a bit of boogie boarding, and I was like sitting really far back. And my dad was like, "Oh, sit like really far forward, because then you like go better." And it really worked. Like that transformed my boogie boarding. So that was pretty impactful for the summer of 2009.
Wow, I'm glad that stuck with you. That's definitely gonna help you now. Well, maybe it will. Maybe you want to become a surfer.
Well, I think it was kind of a metaphor for
surfing?
like if you ever want something, you have to go forward for it. Like if you sit back, you won't.
You get it. That will pass by you.
The way, like the waves.
Yeah,
exactly.
But if you go forward, you're gonna accelerate and get what you want.
Exactly.
Not
So
only
I like to
quicker,
think that's
but
what
more
my dad
efficiently.
was trying to say.
I think so. I think Michael, if you're listening to this, amazing work, amazing words.
What about you?
Mine weren't that positive, I don't think. The only like
that's true. Impactful could be like negatively, like
Exactly.
you're scarred forever.
What stuck with me forever?
Like
God,
I'm gonna beat your ass.
I think for the last 3 episodes, I've just like exposed my mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm gonna expose you
Literally,
again.
Michelle. She's like his third character at this point.
I know. Honestly, bring her on.
Ooh.
She No. I think I was about 10 and I was like, Mum, and I love music so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I was young, I was like, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be a singer. I was like, I'm going to be an entertainer. And I was like, Mum, I'm going to go on X Factor. And she's like, Ali, you know those people we watch and we're like, why do their family members let them go on X Factor? Like, it's embarrassing. She's like, that's probably what you're going to be.
What the? How old are you?
Like 9 or 10. And that has sat with me forever. I'm telling you. And like, I was in a musical. I was like, did singing lessons. I've been told my voice isn't awful sometimes. Especially when you work on it. But my confidence, I think it's been, maybe that's why I have anxiety. Maybe this is where everything's rooted
No, I
in.
mean, I think parents like fair enough to restrict their children from doing that.
Yeah.
But usually they like go about it
Differently?
more discreetly, or
Yeah.
like, oh, we just can't get to the audition. It's too far away.
Yeah, just like, but no, she didn't even let me apply.
She went straight for it.
Yeah.
Just like,
She's like, you're going to embarrass
I feel
yourself.
like everyone has had one of those moments where they've tried to be like, yes, this is our X Factor moment. I remember one time in like primary school when we were young, we were like doing one of those pyramids just in at like lunchtime.
Yeah.
And we like made a little dance to go with it. We're like, and we heard that there were auditions for Australia's Got Talent. We're like, we should go drive out there
For a little bit.
and go do it. We've got what it takes. We can do it. We'll just practice like at lunchtime for the next few days. And we're like so set on it. And it's like, we're literally just doing a little pyramid and then a couple of spins around. And I was like, I can't dance. I'll be your manager, guys. Like,
No, I'm pretty sure for a school concert, there's like 3 or 4 of us, and we did a dance to like You're Hot and You're Cold or something. But we literally did like the motions with like You're Hot and You're like, I don't know if you guys like can picture this, but you're literally like fanning yourself and then you're shivering. You're like, yes, like the typical. And we were like, we are great for a school concert. We were, I think, year 5, year 6. Like that's like 11,
I just love
12.
it though, like the kind of confidence.
Mine was shattered early.
Sweet. Of children just be like, yes, I can dance. I can sing.
Yeah, but no, I was even before that. What else has stuck with me? Sorry, Mum, you also did me dirty here. I think I was 7 or 8, and I was doing dancing like ballet and tap and everything.
As
and
you do.
Yeah, of course, I was a dancer. And Mum was like, up until this point, Mum was like, Ali, maybe basketball's more your thing. Maybe, like, this was more subtle, of course, but she's like, this is because I've been told I had a banana back and all this type of stuff.
Wait, what is that? Like the
Well, if you're
Hunchback of
Gen Z,
Notre Dame?
No. It's because I've got a butt. So, like, and my teacher used to always be like, get rid of that banana back. But, like, because I'm African-American, like, it's kind of awkward. Like, I was born with a butt. And Mum was like, not all African-Americans have a butt, but that's just my body type and stuff like that. And Mum was like, yeah, I really think basketball's better for your like body type, better for
A big butt's useful in basketball.
Well, I think it just like was like less focused on your appearance, of course. And she was probably trying to help me, but at that point I was like, wow, my dreams of being a dancer, a ballerina, a tap dancer, jazz dancer, crushed.
Well, you end up loving basketball, so.
Oh yeah, I did, but I've been playing basketball before
that one
that. She's
was
like,
it?
No, but she was more like, let's just focus on basketball. So, thanks, Mum. Like, I guess we can only go up from there. We go, but no. So I'm glad that we have some really great impactful words that can help other people.
Yeah, that got so deep. I hope that impacted you too.
They probably like ask this question because they're like, yeah, what can I take into my life? Well, don't take any of this. Maybe the boogie board reference. Michael did well. Michelle, not so much. Oh God. Okay, and the next question we have from the lovely Charlie Brunt. She left a review last week or the week before. And now she sent in a people pick. So of course we had to pick hers. Thoughts on the Trisha and Shane Dawson drama? Well,
Ooh.
I've only heard
Are you up to date?
not fully. Like, I only know like brief little bits. Like, Trisha suddenly hates Sean Dawson. Sean Dawson.
Shawn Mendes. Trisha hates Shawn Mendes. Yes.
Wouldn't put it past her, honestly.
No.
And that's all I've heard. I didn't know there was anything back from his part. I don't know really what she did. Did she make a TikTok about it? Did she talk about it on a podcast? Who knows? Fill me in, Theo. You obviously know.
Okay. So, no, okay. Do you
That
know
was a little
everything?
dig. Sorry. I was like, you obviously know. You would have been
Because
better.
you spend your life sitting at home watching Trisha Paytas TikToks. No. Well, I do, but... wait, so this is crazy. This is just like an ongoing saga, this whole Shane Dawson everything.
I thought it was done. I thought he's
I've been like on the Shane Dawson defense train this whole time, but I think I might have to exit.
Why haven't you? I don't understand why you hadn't. But why now? Why?
Because I believe in growth.
Yeah, which is an issue you need to face. Some people don't grow. Some people need to.
Yeah, but he has grown.
Okay. Anyway, go.
Okay. Sorry.
Tell the deets.
No. So basically, what happened here was classic Jeffree Star is also involved.
Oh.
And he basically...
James Charles as well? I'm just like assuming they're all in the mix.
James has been tweeting about it, of course.
Gotta stay relevant. Too.
But no, so Jeffree and Trisha started falling out last year because Jeffree took her on a trip and was like roasting her for being like lazy and boring and like fat and like her hair extensions were bad and stuff. And they like, threw out her bag and whatever. So they had a whole beef.
Oh my God.
So Trisha's hated Jeffree since then. But of course, Shane and Jeffree are friends.
Are they still friends?
Yes, so they've been like besties. Okay. Trisha hates Jeffree. Shane hasn't really been standing up for her. And then suddenly Jeffree's hairstylist comes out and makes like a live saying, Trisha Paytas is trash. Like Jeffree said last year, like blah, 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 confirming everything he'd said. Ooh. And basically hating on her even more. Ooh. So then she was like, well, this is sad. I've been publicly hated on. Shane didn't come defend her and then was basically like, just try and move on from it. It's okay.
Oh.
And then Trisha's like, wow, I've been defending him this whole time. She's the only one that stuck by him.
And she gets
nothing
back.
He has done nothing back for her. And then since then, everyone's been coming out sharing like audio recordings of Shane talking trash about her for like the last 10 years of their friendship.
Wow, I love being informed.
So I'm not sure because Trisha Paytas is not the most reliable person, but I do love her. Like she's so entertaining.
Like
she's
she
juicy.
is so problematic.
She's very problematic.
She's very entertaining. I'm sorry, I know you're not supposed to like give people the platform if they are so problematic, and she is. Some of the stuff she comes out, I'm like, that is disgusting. What you're saying is like awful. But like I'm just like, it's so wild following her. Like I don't follow her religiously, but it's like, what is going on?
But you see people like comment on TikTok like, wow, Trisha, this is offensive. You're cancelled. It's like, guys, you want to not simply like leave a comment and try and cancel Trisha. Like she just does whatever.
It's like the way that she keeps coming back and back and back. And I think we briefly touched on this.
Yeah, with the Davis.
But like, I feel like nothing can stop her until she wants to stop. And I don't think she ever will.
I think she's going to die before she like stops.
For sure. Because she's been going for so long. Like at the beginning of YouTube.
Yeah, she's pushing 40. All power to her.
Is she actually? I don't know why I still think of her as like a 30-year-old, 25-year-old.
Oh, well, she's in her 30s, but...
No, but I've never been, after the whole stuff that came out, I don't even know how long it was ago, last year, with Shane Dawson.
Yeah.
No, not a fan. Not a fan.
And it's funny because he's been in hiding, like everyone thought he was officially being cancelled, but he's slowly started to reappear and been posting like stuff. And I think I was seeing some more people like warming up to him, like let's give him another chance, he can grow. But then this comes out and Trisha's like, because she's been like his best friend forever, like defending him at every stand, and now she's like, I think she's the worst person ever, trying to like destroy.
She has the power, honestly.
And I'm not really sure, and I don't think it's really healthy to like pick that much of a side either, because every time any kind of cancellation happens, they're all problematic.
Yeah.
Every time one of these things happens, people are like, this person, then they say something which shows the other person.
And then everybody's like, why did we cancel them? They're worse. It's like, just don't pick a side.
So getting too invested is just dumb. You just have to sit back and kind of just enjoy
the ride. No, I'm definitely not as up to date with that as I don't know if I should be, actually. I'm kind of glad I'm not.
No, you're not missing much.
No, not at all. All right, so our last people pick and last little statement segment question. A bit lost there. Is from Grace Perry, and she said, is the whole manifesting confidence a vibe? Do we think it works? Have we tried it? She says, I low-key want to know more about both your opinions on manifesting anyway, and whether you've done it T. Just like T, as in like tea? Like give us the tea on the manifesting. Okay. Have you, Theo? Have you tried manifesting? It's a big thing, especially on TikTok and everything at the moment, and has been for a while.
Well, I'm not really sure what defines like manifesting, like what exactly are they requesting, but I've gotten into not recently, but I went through a phase where I was like, I read like this book about like best morning routine, and I was doing like best morning practices ever.
Yeah.
So you'd like read, you'd meditate, you'd exercise, you'd journal, you'd like look at a visualization, and you'd also do affirmations.
Yeah.
I feel like visualization and affirmations are probably both forms of manifestation.
For sure.
All those Asians. And I really like the affirmations. Like, it seems so dumb. Like, you basically write out a list. Like, I had a list of like things I kind of wanted to be.
Yeah.
Or like it was, but like
or wanted something to happen.
Wanted to like realize in myself.
Yeah.
And you would just like repeat it every morning. And to be honest, I loved it. And I kind of felt like it worked. Because it's not like, I don't think manifesting has to be something which is so like crazy and whimsical.
No.
It's literally just like,
I think
I'm going to reiterate this thing to myself and therefore bring it upon myself. Because the more like you say an affirmation, the more you believe it. And I think that's a form of manifesting.
Well, I definitely think we touched about this in the past, but I think it works. Like, I think, and what we've said in the past too, is like when you believe things or when you put things out there, your brain like processes them. And like if it's positive, like, or negative, like whatever you put out there, your brain processes, and then subconsciously or consciously you start to do those things without even noticing.
Yeah.
Like, so if you put out like, I'm confident I'm going to do this, like then you're going to be more inclined to look after yourself better, or like, because you think these things, or
and
you know
not
what
even,
I mean?
Not even like consciously.
No.
So it's like, if you have a situation where you rock up at a party and you're like nervous and anxious and you're like, oh, I feel, and your brain automatically goes like, oh no, you don't even think this thought, but your brain is thinking like, oh no, you're too like anxious to speak to people. Yeah. Like, I think if you're like someone that wakes up every morning and says, I'm a confident person, I'm a confident person. Yeah. It would slowly trigger your brain to when you encounter one of those moments, it's like your brain, that's the thought that would come to it.
For sure. Confident. And because you've got it already inside you, like, and you're thinking it, it's just like an automatic response. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, it's built in. So I think like it's a real thing. I've actually, honestly, I've been seeing them a lot, and I'm like, yeah, should I try them? Yeah, like on TikTok and stuff.
What affirmations?
Like when I go on them, and I recently started one. I'm up to my 4th day today, I think, and it's just like one about love and romance.
You're doing it at the moment.
Yes, and it's just like this thing with like, because I chase a lot of people, and we've talked about this before. I always chase, and then it just never works out, and I'm sick of it. I'm so tired, and and what I said at the start of the podcast, like, this ties into it. But like, I say this thing where I'm like, I don't chase, I attract, or what belongs to me will simply find me. And that can be like with anything, like, but I feel like with lots of other things, like, you do need to put in the work. But like, obviously chasing isn't a hugely positive thing. Like, sometimes it is, but it's more of like, if you're a chase, it's a long haul kind of negative experience. So I've been doing that. We'll see if anything happens of it. Like, honestly, my positivity or my perspective on myself and like guys, and like even like with things, I'm like, today I was like, oh, you know what, it's negative at the moment, but if it's meant to be, it will happen, or like things will happen, it will flow. And it's like changed my mindset a bit. So I'm not gonna lie, maybe manifestation does work. I don't know the particular different types of them though. Like, I know there's all different types, and like, I'd love to get into it more.
But I think, unless I'm like completely wrong and it is something crazy, like, I think people have a view that it's wild and like so complex, but I think it literally is just like, the more you speak about something, the more you kind of put it into your brain, the more it's going to come into fruition just naturally. Like, that just makes sense. I know there's all different things with like energy frequencies and all that people go into with like manifestation. Oh. Not to undermine.
No. I'm just not too read up on that. Okay. But like, if you guys have any recommendations for books or people who do talk about manifestations, send them through. Manifestationist. Should somebody has come on? Ooh, we love that. Send them through though. I'm keen. I want to know, like, if I can do something so simple and like impact my life so positively, why not?
But yes, I believe in manifesting confidence, and actually I want to pull out my little book and start doing those affirmations again, because I'm like, if you can like basically trick your mind, why not? And become more of something.
Also, I think we should do a visualization board. And we say that every year, but I think we should do it. Even though it's February nearly already.
It's still the start of the year?
Yeah, it's still the start. Yep. Let's do it.
Okay.
Guys, you should do one too. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I surely did.
The end.
It is. It comes to a close, you know? Another episode, another week, another...
Yes, no. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Carlos, and
I did.
Ourselves. We know you did.
No. But I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you like us having guests on and having interesting young people.
I've been enjoying it so much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, more than I expected. Like, I get off at these guest interviews. And
I honestly just want to keep them talking for like 2 hours.
Literally.
I'm sat there like, I know it's been an hour. I know we have to wrap up.
I know we said 45 minutes, but
can we keep it? Like, they're so interesting and so engaging that I'm like, should you guys have your own podcast? But also don't, because like,
just come on ours.
Yeah. But no. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as per usual, if you want to leave a review and be the review of the week next week, go do that at Apple Podcasts. 5-star rating if you want. 4-star rating, just
preferably not lower than that.
But you know where to find us if you listen regularly. We're at Ali_Malcolm, Theo.McCoy, the Undecided Gen Z on Instagram. We also have a Facebook, Instagram group where we're going to... We also have a Facebook group where we do some
I'm
fun
proud of you
things.
for not saying Facebook page for the first time.
Wow, really throwing me under the
Because I see
bus.
people like your page. And I'm like, that's his Ali gives today.
No, but go join the group. We've got some fun things coming. We always have discussions, some insights, you get some little kind of info before the episodes come out, I'd say. You know? But yes, go join that. Have some fun.
We also been posting video snippets of the podcast to TikTok, which have started some interesting conversations. Some of our Nina ones.
Ooh, they've gone off because people are heated.
People have lots of opinions about that whole situation still.
Yes, still. But yes, you can see the guests on there. You can see our interactions on there. We're doing things. We're doing things, and we want you to be a part of it. So join the discussion, join the Discord, and we'll see you next week.
Discord.
Is that it? Discord? Isn't that like discussion, like
discourse?
Fuck.
Like, do we have a Discord? Because that's an app.
That's an app.
We got a Discord.
No.
I wasn't aware of this.
Join the discussion.
Plus, it wouldn't be an episode without Ali making a English mistake.
Wow.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll see you next Monday with a new episode of the Undecided Gen Z.
Bye.
Bye.